So tell us a little bit about your childhoods.
My childhood. My childhood memory is one that I remember very well being, mommy's girl. I love my mom so much. And, I just don't want to do anything without my mom. And, one of my childhood memory was, there was a day my mom was going to go to church. And because I don't want her to leave me with anybody. So, and I wanted to go with her, but she insisted that no, she doesn't want me to come with her. So, if you've been in Nigeria, where I come from, we don't have cars. So when my mom is going to church, she tends to, take the bus, the public bus. So on this fateful day, she went and she was and she was in the bus. And the bus was going over the bridge. And I was literally running, after the bus. And for some reason, the bus, the conductor was stopped and said, whose child is that? Cited me from afar and said, which child is that is running after the bus? And, and they stopped and my mom was like, that's my child. And I can just see the, her face, the look on her face. And she came off the bus and she took me by my hand and she took me home. And I tell you, my sisters, they just want to kill me. But you know what? She loves me so much that she wouldn't even give anybody the chance of the day to do anything to me. So yes, that is a childhood memory I will not forget.
So what about growing up? How was your teens?
Wow, my teens. I think actually one of the stage in which I struggled with was my teen, because I was bullied. I remember being brought up by a single mother. Money was quite a challenge for my mom. And, sometimes you go to school, without no proper bag. So you basically have to go to school with a plastic bag. And, your mates tend to, take, the mickey out of you. And, they'll tell me things. And because I used to stammer, I was a born stammerer, so I couldn't express myself properly. And that was they used that against me. So it's so I was bullied with that. And the fact that I was stammering, I could not express myself properly. I could not make friends. So I could not make friends when I was growing up. So it just made me close up.
So how did you cope with the bullying?
How did I cope? I think my mom helped me to cope well, knowing that I have a mother that loves me, with despite what, and she's been a rock for me. So I was, that was very helpful, that I can do anything or anything can happen to me outside. But once I go in, I've got my mom. And I also did have friends. I took up friends that was not very good, influence. And one of the way in which I cope also was running away from school. And so we used to, during school time, we just run away. There was a broken fence at the back of my school, so we used to go through there. And we'll just go out of school, basically, and just go do whatever it is that we want to do for the day. Yes.
Because of what's going on in school.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, in your book, you talk a lot about your father. What do you remember about your father?
To be honest with you, I don't remember much about my father. My father is still alive, and but my father was basically just absent from when I can remember as a child. I was told that, he made a decision to move away from where we were. And at that point, my mom was like, no, I have to put my children first. I am not moving with you. So that made my mom to stay behind. And for that reason, you only see him when, he's coming to take something from, where we live. But otherwise, there's nothing. I basically don't have any relationship with my father. And
how did you feel? Did you feel any ways about him, or was it just normal to you?
For me, it feels like he's a stranger, and there was no father and daughter love. There was no relationship. And one of the things that the Lord is teaching me is the importance of relationship in any relationship. the importance of relating, having a relationship within the relationship, because relationship is between two, and between the two there have to be a communication. There have to be something that you can relate to in one another, if I may say so, and we don't have that. So basically I couldn't relate to him at any point, not even as a father, not as a friend, not as an uncle, not as just nothing. I just cannot relate to him, and I feel the same also, that he also cannot relate to me, because as far as it's concerned, I don't know. There was a time which was really strange. My father, at that point, I think, he said I was rude, to a man, in my company at that point, and the man reported me to him, and my father came, like, wanting to be the fatherly, person, and then he gave me a slap. And I remember I was so angry, like, how dare you, and for a teenage girl, you'll be surprised, like, you can't talk to your father like that. But I was so, I was so outraged, like, how dare you slap me, like, you don't have any right, to put your hands on me. And why was I able to say that? Because as far as I'm concerned, he gave up his right, of being my dad, the very day he turned his back on me as a child.